In the first sim, you learnt about what is science, and this time you will be learning social responsibilities of a scientist. Adjectives. What are adjectives? They describe about the noun, correct? So, she is beautiful. So, beautiful is adjective. So, something which describes noun is called as adjective. Poetry, you have reference to context for 12 marks and essay type questions for 10 marks. Okay. So, this is how your question paper will have the weightage. Hello everyone, this is Shobita S. Aradhya, lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, MYSURU. A warm welcome to you all and greetings from my side. I welcome to you to the first session of second SEM B.C.A. And in today's session, we will be discussing the syllabus, pattern of evaluation and pattern of question paper, which is very important for you before you attend the classes. So, in this module, we will discuss mainly the syllabus, the pattern of evaluation and the pattern of question paper. If you understand this, you can read the syllabus easily for the examination. So, without any delay, let us start today's session, that is introduction. As I told you, we will be discussing the syllabus. What all poetry you have, what are the prose you have and what are the language components you have. As you had for first sem, you will have 8 poems, 4 prose and 4 language components. You had same number of poems, prose and language component for the first sem also. So that you will have this time also, but the poems and prose are completely different. Then we will discuss the pattern of evaluation, how your internals will be conducted, for how many marks it will be and how will your term exam, for how many marks will you have your examination. All that we will discuss in this, and then we will know the pattern of question paper, how your question paper will be, how many marks questions will be asked, what are the questions used asked, or 1 mark question, 5 mark question, how they are asked. So, all that we will be discussing today. And now let us start with the syllabus. For your syllabus, as I already said, you have 8 poems, okay, that comes under poetry. How Do I Love Thee? This is a sonnet written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and this is of Victorian era. You'll know the sonnet, the lines, the rhyme scheme and the theme of the poem also. So, this is the first poem, How Do I Love Thee? In this poem, the speaker is trying to tell in which all ways she loves her husband or the beloved. Then, Thou art indeed just Lord. This is by Gerard Manley Hopkins. So, here this is also of the olden era where you will find little of old English which will be difficult to read by you, but I am there to help you. You will get complete details about the poem and the summary, and then you will get the question answers also when this poem is taught to you. Then the laboratory is written by Robert Browning. He also comes under the Victorian era, but this is not a sonnet. Here this is a normal poem where he writes a woman who wants to kill her lover's lover, and for that she goes to the laboratory and asks the lab technician to prepare poison for her which can kill her lover's lover. So that is given in this poem, The Laboratory. Then No Men Are Foreign by James Kirkup. Here we will know that no men are foreign, we are universally brothers. So that is the theme of the poem here, No Men Are Foreign. Then The Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. This is about the mind of a person, how we feel. If a bird is caged, what it feels, in the same way our emotions and feelings are controlled. What will be our experience? So that we will be seeing in this poem. Next is The Bread of the People by Bertolt Brecht. So this is also about the people, the suffering of the people. Then bankers are like anybody else. So this tells us about the bankers, how they behave. Are they same to the other people? How they differ from the common people? And this poem is written by Ogden Nash. Then stammer. Stammer is written by Sachidananda. So you'll know more about the problems of the people here, which is very well written by the poet Sachidananda. So this is what you'll have under the section of poetry, that is 8 poems. You'll have 8 poems for this sem, that is second sem. Next we'll look the prose. As I said, you have 4 chapters here, 4 lessons under the heading prose. And what is the first one? A Devoted Son by Anita Desai. And this time you can see that there are some Indian authors. So in poetry part also you saw Sachidananda, the stammer is written by him, and here A Devoted Son by Anita Desai, another Indian writer. So here Anita writes about the father and son relationship, what they do and how they understand each other. All that you will be learning in this lesson. Then social responsibilities of a scientist. So this is about the science, today's science, and what is the responsibility of a scientist. This is written by Bertrand Russell. So in the first sem you learnt about what is science, and this time you will be learning social responsibilities of a scientist. Then the story of an art, which is written by Kate Chopin. So this is again about the story. It is a short story where you'll have to see the plot, the character and the theme of the story. All those will be discussed when I do the video for this particular story. Then Pandit Jasraj. It is about the musician Pandit Jasraj, which is written by Captain Gopinath. So Pandit Jasraj used to visit Captain Gopinath, and suddenly when Pandit Jasraj dies, at that time what was the feeling of Captain Gopinath is presented in this part of prose. That we will be discussing in this. So again, for this semester, second semester, you will have 4 prose. So totally 4 prose and 8 poems for this year. Then what all language components you will have? So this time you will be learning adjectives. What are adjectives? They describe about the noun, correct? So she is beautiful. So beautiful is adjective. So something which describes noun is called as adjective. We will see types of adjectives and degrees of adjectives when this is taught to you. Next is adverbs. What are adverbs? As the name tells, they add something to verbs, right? So we will be discussing adverbs. Then linkers. Linkers are conjunctions. The most common used conjunction is and but. Okay, so we'll discuss more about the conjunctions. There are many conjunctions which link in between the sentence. Okay, that we'll be discussing in conjunctions. Then words often confused. What are these words often confused? What we call the homophones. Homophones, homonyms, all those are the words which often confuse us, correct? There will be same spelling, but the pronunciation may differ, or the meaning may differ. Pronunciation may be same, but spelling may differ, correct? So this usually confuses you. So that will be taught very well when I do video for words often confused. Okay, and here you will have, for your exam, you will have the questions based on your text. So all the homophones or homonyms what you get will be from the 8 poems and 4 prose which you will be learning. Okay, from that only you will have the words often confused. So here is a tip from my side. What you have to do is, whenever these prose and poems are taught to you, underline the words which are the homophones or the homonyms and then learn the meaning well. Only then it will help you for the examination. Okay, so this is a small tip from my side. Make a note of the words which often confuse you when the videos are shared to you people. Next we will see the format of the assessment, how the assessment is done, how the first internals, for how many marks it is done, how many tests you will have in this SEM. So, you will have 4 assessments or tests and 1 examination. Here, the first internal test will be for 10 marks. It is only for 10 marks. Then you will have the second internal test, even that is for 10 marks, and then you will have the assignments or surveys or interviews or the second class test or maybe oral test. Okay. So, any of these will be conducted for 10 marks again. Okay. That you will have 2. First assignment and the second assignment, and in the second assignment also it can be a survey or an interview or oral test. It can be any of these. Again, this is for 10 marks. So, your internals will be for 40 marks. So, what is your internal marks? Internal marks is 40. Okay. Then comes your term and examination. There you will have it for 60 marks. So, written exam will be for 60 marks and these are for 40 marks, that is the internal assessment. Okay. That may vary. 2 internal assessments you will have. So, that where you will write the answers to the questions in the college. The other 2 may be the surveys, interviews, or can be any assignment given to you or also oral test. Okay. So, this is how your marks are categorized. Okay. But remember, the term examination will be for 60 marks, not for 80 marks, because 40 marks is for internals, and what are the marks remaining? 60. For that you will be writing answers for 8 poems, 4 prose and 4 language components. For that you will have the exam for 60 marks. Okay. Total is 100 marks. Hope this is clear to you, the formative assessment, how it is conducted and for how many marks it is conducted. Next we will go for the question paper pattern. How your question paper pattern is going to be. Objective type questions you will have 12 to 15 questions, and in that you have to answer only 8. This carries 1 mark each. Okay. So, 8 questions, 8 mark. Okay. This is for 8 mark, where you have to answer in a word, phrase or a sentence. If only word is required, please do write only the word, need not write the whole sentence. Or if it is asked for a phrase, write the phrase, or sometimes you may answer in a sentence. At that time answer in a sentence, and that will be for 8 marks. Each question carries 1 mark. Then reference to context, or we also call it as annotation. Correct? Some sentence from the poem will be given. You have to write the reference to that context. What context is given? For that you have to write the reference. Why the poet has taken these words or these lines in the poem. What does it mean? And how it is connected to the other part of the poem. That you have to write. That is reference to context, or we also call it as annotation. Okay. You have to write any 3 reference to context here, and each question is for 4 mark. Okay. Totally this is for 12 marks. Okay. This is for 12 mark. Here remember 3 out of 6 poetry. So, you will have 6 questions from different poems. Out of 8, from 6 poems you will have 6 questions. Out of that you have to answer any 3. Okay. If you answer any 3, it is which is for 4 mark each. If you write correctly, you may get 12 marks in this main. Okay. Then essay type questions on prose. So, see, you should know that this part is only for poetry. Okay. This part is only for prose. Okay. And the first main is together for prose and poetry. In essay type questions, it is only on prose. You have to answer any 2. Each question carries 5 marks. So, this main will be for 10 mark. Okay. So, this main you will be writing for 10 mark. Here, choice what you have is, you will have 4 questions, you have to answer any 2. So from 4 prose, you'll have 4 questions, but you have to answer any 2. Okay, be clear with this. Each question carries 5 mark. You'll have to answer any 2. So 10 mark for this main, that is essay type question. And this is only for prose part. Next is essay type questions on poetry. Okay, this is for this main is for poetry where you'll write essay type questions. So see, for poetry you have reference to context for 12 marks and essay type questions for 10 marks. Okay, so this is how your question paper will have the weightage. Here essay type questions on poetry, you have to answer any 2 and each question carries 5 marks. Totally, this main is for 10 mark again. Okay, and here also 4 questions will be asked. You have to answer any 2. Out of 4, you have to answer any 2. Each question carries 5 mark and this main is for 10 mark. Okay, once again, objective type questions, you have to answer any 8. Each question carries 8 marks. So, this is for 8 mark. Second main, reference to context, you have to answer any 3. Each question carries 4 marks. So, that is for 12 mark. Then, essay type questions on prose, you will have 4 questions. You have to answer any 2. Each question carries 5 mark. So, this is for 10 mark. And then, essay type questions on poetry, this main is only for poetry. Here again you have to answer any 2. 4 questions will be there, you have to answer any 2. Each question carries 5 mark and this main is also for 10 mark. Okay, so 8 plus 12, 20 plus 10, 30 plus 10, 40. 40 mark is here. Okay, next remaining 20 will be for the grammar and composition. Okay, each language component will be for 5 mark. See, adjectives for 5 mark, adverbs for 5 mark, linkers for 5 marks and words often confused, which is based on the text, is for 5 mark. Totally, this is for 20 mark. Okay, now what will be the total? You will be writing for 60 mark. Okay, the total question paper will be for 60 mark. Remember, your internals is for 40 marks and then the term and examination is for 60 marks. Totally, this semester, in the second semester for English, you will be having 100 marks. Okay, you will be attending all the tests and exams for 100 marks. Okay, this is how your question paper pattern is. So, please go through this. This will help you to prepare yourself for the examination. If you know the pattern, if you know the marks allotment for each main and each question, it will be easy for you to study. If you study and then look at the marks allotted to each main, you will be in a confusion. So, better you learn this first and based on this, if you study, you can save your time and energy. Okay. So, this is all you will have for this semester. Hope you understood this very well. Before going, I would like to give you some information. What are the elements of a novel? Do you know what are the elements of a novel? A novel should have the plot, the setting, the character, and these 3 make a novel very strong. So, it should continue. The reader should feel that he should read more. If he has to feel like that, any novel should have these 3 mainly: the plot, the setting and the character. Hope you will remember this information given to you. Hope you understood the whole introduction very well. Now you know the question paper pattern, you know the pattern of evaluation and you know what is there for your syllabus. So, I will meet you in the next session with poetry and we will know more about the poem and the poet, the theme and title, everything there. So, now wishing you a good luck from our side and bidding you bye. Thank you.